Disciple of Christ podcast going to give you a church attendance review. So I brought my kiddos. We attended the Northview Church in Plain City area. I think it's far west, the official city, not very, only about a 10-minute drive from where I live. When I showed up there at the Northview Church, they gave me a gift bag, and I had never received it before. On the way in, right before they gave me the gift bag, they gave me this, and I've never seen this before. Can you guys guess what this is that I have right here? I'll let you know something. It is not a coffee creamer. It is communion. That is the wafer that people take. This is the wine. I guess I'll find out if it's, maybe I'll let you know if it's alcoholic or not, but this is the communion that they pass out to everybody, and they have some different things. They refer to it as the elements. Okay, so what was church service like at Northview? I've got an amigo in the area who says, hey, go check it out. They preach straight from the Bible, and I'm quite a fan of the Bible and preaching from it. It's a warehouse kind of building. There's two different buildings. One of them is where they have the kids portion of things. As I went inside, music starts up, and it's more kind of soft rock and roll oriented. To me, it sounded a bit like Imagine Dragons, just kind of a gentler form of Imagine Dragons. Some people raising their hands up during the singing. And for me, I got to catch myself in my prejudices because it's very different than the LDS type of church services that I experience, where it tends to be more traditional type Christian hymns. This was very, very modern. And I keep a prayer in my heart, Heavenly Father, bless these people in their sincerity that are seeking after you. The lyrics by themselves were very sincere and worshipful, even though I'm not into the Imagine Dragons modern rock church kind of stuff. Music went on for probably 30 minutes or so. As they bring the music down, they advise everybody to participate in this. And the lady who was singing, it was young musicians in general. It looked like everybody was probably under the age of 30 from what I could tell. The main singer gave a good description about what the emblems represent, what they are. I am not doing this as a matter of communion, but I just want to be able to let you know, what does the wine taste like? Because I didn't take communion with them. I didn't feel inclined to at all. But I do want to find out, just for my own personal knowledge, what does that taste like? And it tastes like gentle juice, nothing else. It's clearly not alcoholic in any way. But that would be it. It doesn't even taste like very strong. It tastes like a very, very mild grape juice. The sermon happened. The pastor, his name is Luis Franco, and he lives in North Ogden, not too far away from me. I spoke to him afterwards. The two words for his sermon were outrageous generosity, and it was primarily based upon 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 5 through 14. We read through that, and he read a more modern version. I'm used to the King James Version of the Bible. The more modern version is definitely easier to understand, even though I'm pretty familiar with the King James Version. He shared about the generosity, the poverty that was experienced by those in Macedonia as depicted the chapter before, and the generosity that was given by those in Corinth. He shared other parts from the book of Matthew, chapter 28, the verses 19 and 20, where is the Great Commission to go forth and teach the word. He has a rhythm in preaching that seems like he's just getting the flow and keeping it going for the sake of the flow. And it didn't feel as much to me to where getting insight from the Spirit on what to teach next. That's something that I at least strive for if there's opportunities for me to share the word, rather than hearing myself talk and keeping a flow for the sake of flow. What is it that the Spirit would have communicated via myself or whoever I may be learning from? This felt like more of a continuous flow because that kept a certain feeling of moving forward. I guess that would be the most generous way for me to interpret it. And then after 20 plus minutes or so of his sermon, one of the musicians makes it up there and she starts to play the guitar chords. It's the same guitar chords from Imagine Dragons. This is my kingdom come, da, 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 da. And those are common chords. I don't think she intended to play Imagine Dragons. It's just that same chord progression. Pastor Franco, Luis Franco, talked about, now we did purchase a property in Plain City for $1 million. And now we only owe $300,000 on it. And there was claps. It was celebrating paying things. And I found myself at least contemplating, okay, why is he talking about the price of a building, how much they've paid off? I did recognize that it's a level of openness regarding finances and what the church owns that I haven't experienced in other churches, especially not in LDS. I've never been told anything by any leaders regarding church finances. It's usually some sort of scandal and responding to a scandal that LDS people in general learn about whatever finances are happening with LDS institution. And that was his segue into outrageous generosity, giving, continually talking about God's going to give you back. It's similar to some of the prosperity messages that I've heard from other modern preachers. And now being told there is a donation that's going to be matched. If we can raise $20,000, it will be matched, and maybe we're going to get a lot more than the $40,000. But it felt like it was deliberately, the sermon was deliberately a segue into, let's raise money to pay for $1 million property. And if that's the message that God wanted him to give, God bless him for it. I certainly didn't get spiritual confirmation of it. In fact, it left me being suspicious. This was not the spirit that was guiding him to give a message about outrageous generosity, but I believe this was Pastor Luis Franco's personal intention to raise money, and he probably feels like it's a godly cause. God bless him for it, but I certainly didn't feel any inclination to where, wow, that sermon makes me want to give money to pay for $1 million property over in Plain City. Oh, and let me share with you all the items that I got in my gift bag. Hold on, you're going to come in just a little bit. So in my gift bag, bam, it's a nice brown paper bag. I'll probably use it for something else. And I've been given a magnet that I can put on my fridge. I did grab a couple of extra communion cups. I thought that if it was full strength alcohol, I was just going to pound them. No, just joking. Got those, and I was given a mug. Oh, Churchview mug. Sorry, the green is on there a little bit. It's not an invisible mug. There's the Churchview mug right there, and a couple of pieces of candy. I guess everybody that goes for the first time, they get a gift bag which contains the same items. All right, let's find out what it was like for my kiddos. 2 out of my 3 kiddos attended. Joseph, who's 11, Layla, who's 9. Joseph, hit us with it.
So the class there, I was in 6th grade, but was meant for a kindergarten up to 4th grade, so I definitely was not supposed to be there. So I was 2 grades above, and I found out why. It was definitely targeted more for little kids, but
now, in the room itself, describe the room the best way that you can. Was it a regular classroom? What was it like?
it looked like more of like a playroom style thing.
Kind of a one big open room. It had some permanent benches.
Mm-hmm.
What was the music like?
It was like kind of like how my dad described it. It was, yes,
Like what?
like more like the more modern music, like the pop rock style kind of.
Yeah.
Like that, but like it was still like meant to worship a god, but it wasn't like.
Do you remember any lyrics that you were taught?
No, I remember like all of it was like just focused around like worshiping God, all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah, it was a repetitive message. Did it feel like that it taught you the gospel of Jesus Christ at the level that you're meant to understand it?
Nope.
Why not?
I feel like I learned more from reading the scriptures with my dad.
Okay, I'm pretty good at it.
Yes.
I take it seriously. But they were people. Well, let me ask this: the leaders that were there, did it feel like they were directly involved in trying to teach?
One of them, they were like teaching the class, so I will say yes. But some of them, they were just volunteers helping helping the kids like with coloring or paying attention.
Yeah, Layla said that it felt more like daycare.
Yeah.
Is that what you thought of?
I'm not sure if I can say that because I've never been to daycare.
Okay, that was at least what Layla thought of it.
Yeah, I will say that that's what I would think of daycare.
The reality is that's kind of how I felt it was for the adults as well. Now, again, I'm trying my best, Joseph, not to go in with prejudices because I've been raised only LDS, and I've visited a few other churches in my lifetime as a teenager and then as an adult. When I go in, I keep a prayer in my heart on behalf of those that are worshiping, they're trying to follow Jesus. but the way that the music was just kind of modern rock flowing emotion, the way that the sermon still kept a modern, very, very generic message, it totally just felt like adult daycare, even being in the adult worship services.
Yes.
I didn't, even though I love the message, I keep a prayer in my heart on behalf of the pastor sharing it. I didn't feel any closer to God for it. I didn't learn insight that I didn't know before. And I don't feel any inclination that I'm going to get closer to God by attending the Northview services ever again. What did you think, Joseph?
Same as what you described.
Okay. Love the people. But yeah, that's what it was like at Northview Church. There is your review.